and politics. And now, coming on to today's theme, books. I love this. I have not yet put it. I'll put it on put the background picture that Toastmaster Mitesh has said, but he has rightly used the word bookmasters. It goes on with our name Toastmasters. So, as they say, if you have to, travel the world, read more books, then you will know more things and you will learn more things, and the more places you will go. So that is a very nice topic that Toastmaster Fish has picked up for today's meeting. And as we develop leaders in Toastmasters, and for books, they say, today a reader, tomorrow a leader. So with that, I would like to call upon our presiding officer for today. It's my privilege to call upon Toastmaster. Hello.
Yeah, it's Toastmaster Deepak. Yeah.
No, I lost the.
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. So it's my privilege to call upon our presiding officer for today's meeting, Toastmaster Deepak. Over to you, Toastmaster Deepak.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ajit, for setting up the ground rule. Good morning, dear fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I am Toastmaster Deepak and I am presiding officer of the day today. And let me get this opportunity to welcome our guest today. And I would like to first invite the guest who has joined today to know their expectation from the Toastmaster from Mumbai Speakers Club and how they come to know about the Toastmaster. So, guest Abhijit, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I came to know about this because of Sarvesh. We were talking yesterday. We were talking about getting selected after completing MBA. We are in the rounds of interview. However,
Sorry, Abhijit, if you can open your video.
Yeah, sure.
Is it okay for you?
Yes. So, Sarvesh is my friend. We were in this college called IGTC at Churchgate, and Sarvesh got placed, and I am still in the process of getting placed. So, uh, I was thrilled to know something. I mean, to know that this concept exists and you guys take out your time on weekends and talk about it. And I'm also seeing Evaluator 1 and Evaluator 2. So there are also individuals and professionals who are evaluating. So it's a very nice concept and thought that I think I should be part of.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhijit. Sorry, guest Abhijit. You will definitely like our meeting.
Thank you.
Who is next guest? Toastmaster Rupesh?
Rishikesh is the next guest.
Okay. Hi, Rishikesh. Welcome to Mumbai Speakers Club. Can you please share your expectation from the Toastmaster and how you came to know about Toastmaster?
Deepak, I'll guess you'll need to repeat because his audio was just getting connected when you started. So I'd request you to repeat. Yeah.
Okay. Guest Rishikesh? I think he is still joining. Yeah, Kalpesh.
Hey, hi, good morning all.
Hi, Kalpesh.
I'm Kalpesh Patel. I'm a member of Metric Toastmaster Club Ahmedabad. I've been Toastmaster since last 1.5 years. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome Toastmaster Kalpesh. We'll definitely get some experience from you. And at last year, we'll get your feedback also so that we can improve upon. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
So I think Rupesh, guest Rishikesh has some issue, so we can go ahead, right?
Yes, sure.
So, do you know what's the common between Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Shahrukh Khan, Abdul Kalam? Any guesses?
They love to read the books now.
And for that matter, Toastmaster Rupesh also?
They love to read the books, I guess.
Yeah, great. Thanks. And in the word of Benjamin Franklin, the person who deserves most pity is a lonesome one on a rainy day who doesn't know how to read. And in Toastmaster Club, it's our endeavor to improve the public speaking, which has direct correlation with the reading. In Toastmaster, we also celebrate all the major themes and all the major festivals. And you would be aware that monsoon is around the corner. And just few days back, we would have celebrated International Tea Day on 21st May. So there is a great combination in monsoon when we have tea, when we have book, and there's raining. So we have known about International Tea Day. Monsoon is around the corner. So there is a gap to fill. And that's why we have Toastmaster Krupes who will guide us how to read, which books to refer, and his overall experience in book. So we have very enthusiastic Toastmaster who is an engineer, a marketer, a food lover, a traveler, a blogger, and so on, so on, so. So welcome to Toastmaster Krupes. I would like to I will request all the people to give a thunderous applause to Toastmaster Krupes. Over to you, Toastmaster Krupes.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Deepak, for that enthusiastic and warm introduction. Books. There is no frigate like a book by Emily Dickinson. There is no frigate like a book to take us lands away, nor any courser like a page of prancing poetry. This traverse may the poorest take without oppress of toll. How frugal is the chariot that bears the human soul. Books, one of the most wonderful thing which has happened to the world. Books come in various shape, various size, and various format. There is a paperback, there is a hardcover, there are e-books, and nowadays there are audiobooks. But all of these books inform us, entertain us, educate us, console us, make us laugh, and make us cry. Most of the great men, great leaders in the world have been avid readers, book lovers, or may I say, bookmasters. A mind needs books like a sword needs a whetstone if it is to keep its edge, said George R. R. Martin, on whose book the great series Game of Thrones is based on. I have shared this story before. When I was in standard 10, one of the great Marathi teachers bought 60 books for 60 students in the class, and she asked us to exchange our books once in a while. So at the end of the year, almost all of us have read around 15 to 20 books and have come out more knowledgeable person and more empathetic person. That's how my readership journey and my love affair with the books started. So that's about my story. Now I would like to hear from the forum about their readership journey, about their experience with the book. So any bibliophiles or bookmasters in the club, please raise your hands. I have a few questions for you. No one? In a way, it's a
I
good
can
thing.
go first.
Yeah. So Toastmaster Sai Prasad, obviously I would request you to talk about your readership journey. And if you were to gift one book to all your friends and relatives, what would that one book be?
Yeah. So for me, my readership journey began quite early in the fifth standard. Um, it was scholarship time. Actually, in the fourth standard, it was scholarship time, and that was when my father decided that the TV is not such a good influence, and he was right. So uh, he sold the TV, and we had a lot of books from my father and my mother at home. So I began reading them, and initially I read Shamchi Ai, which was very nice, but it's a very sad story. And after that, I went to like English books, and I began reading Harry Potter, and that was also quite an interesting journey, and it took me through the wondrous land that was created by J.K. Rowling. And basically, that my love affair with fantasy began over there. And after that, I have not really looked back uh, when it comes to books, and I have not really consumed that much, visual media since, but mostly I get my fun and my information from books. And another book that was very key to me was it was a really fat encyclopedia. Like it had, I think, some 1,000 pages in it and covered a lot of topics, and I really enjoyed that. Basically, it was my entry into the world, because there was no internet at that time. So I learned about everything from astronomy, biology, all the sciences, history, from that book, and I still have it. So it's very. It was like that was my favorite book, I would say. It was very well illustrated and very concise in terms of how it gave the information. Uh, and that is the book I would recommend to people. It basically had everything that I needed to get started. So yeah, that is my story and my love affair with books.
Thanks a lot, Sai, for sharing your wonderful journey with the books. And selling of the TV is the extreme step, but it is one of the most effective steps. And it is also one of the tricks which have been mentioned when you want to improve. You can take the extreme route, and it's a no-nonsense affair, right? If there is no TV, you will not watch it. So I'll talk about one book which mentions similar story. You're a Harry Potter fan. In a group, always there would be a Harry Potter fan, and there would be a fan of Friends web series. So glad that you are here. And you talked about encyclopedia. We used to have Encyclopedia Britannica before the days of internet. That was one book we used to refer to. Yeah, I'll request guest Kalpesh to go next.
I just wanted to share about my experience so far while reading the books. I was not good in read books, and but post joining Toastmaster, I met with good experienced people, and they suggested me to read the books because I was curious how you writing the speech. So multiple people have suggested you have to start to read the books. That way you get the more idea, and your thought process will be changed. And hence I have started, and so far I have read more than 15 books, and I love to read books. Earlier, I was forcing myself to read the books, but now I love to read the books. So that was my experience, and I definitely encourage people. We should read at least one book in a month. Uh, what will happen when we start? It would be not easy to start the read books, but once you go on that way, it will become a habit, and that habit would definitely help us to change your thought process as well as you can enhance your skills also. So my favorite book is Atomic Habits, where I get to know a lot of things to change yourself. And this is I would also recommend it to read the books at least once in a month. At least we have to read one book, so that would definitely help us to enhance your knowledge and experience. Yeah, over to Timon.
Yeah, true, Kalpesh. As they say, you cannot make a great pizza without having great ingredients. In the same way, unless you have good inputs in terms of good thoughts and good ideas and good content through books or magazines or blogs, you won't be able to give a great speech. So I totally agree with what you said. Yeah, I'll request Toastmaster Sham to express himself on the books next.
Hey, hi Kripesh, and thanks for taking up this as a topic because it's quite close to me. So talking about my reading journey, right? So it started way back from my childhood, wherein we had a full-fledged library, and we could borrow books for 15 days, and there's always a rush to get the latest book. Like as in, there was always a queue to get the latest books that the library would be getting, right? As you mentioned, the Encyclopedia Britannica and other such books, which and Harry Potter books for which there was a lot of demand, right? So I've got very fond memories wherein even during vacations I used to go to the school library, get books borrowed, and then uh, back then there was not much of screen time that we had. Like there was no OTT platforms, or uh, i- in fact I didn't even in my home there was no cable TV, so the only way of entertainment was reading books. And that's one thing that uh, has stayed with me up until the last few years, wherein because of a lot of other commitments I've not been able to continue as much as I would have liked to, right? But then again, I would like to now pick up this habit back up, right? Talking about the favorite book that I've got, which I read in the recent past, this was during my B school days. Like I've read many other books post that, but then this book has always stayed with me. That is Man's Search for Meaning. That's written by Viktor E. Frankl, right? And this was back then. We just got placed, and then I was in fact thinking, what's the meaning of life, right? What are we striving for? Every year, every other milestone that we hit, we still see that there's something much more to do, right? Much more to accomplish. It doesn't end. So what's the meaning of life? And that's when I got this book. The title sounded interesting, and that's why I took it up. And just to give you a context, it's about uh, a psychiatrist who is who is sent to a Nazi war camp, right, in Siberia. So the universe couldn't have conspired in a much better fashion, wherein you send a psychiatrist to a war camp, right, a Nazi war camp, so that he then experiences the world firsthand, the cruelties of war, the kind of other experiences wherein people are dying, and then there are people who survive, right? So how do they do that? And what is the meaning that they see in life when they are struggling, not just every other day, but literally for surviving every hour? So what is important in life? And the book has come out very beautifully, and then it changes your perspective. So that's one book that I would like to recommend to all of you to read. Yeah.
Thank
Over
you,
to you.
Toastmaster Sham. Yeah, as you mentioned, and the poem I started the session with, it was very old school English, so I don't know whether all of us caught what it means. It means that book are one of the cheapest mode of transportation to go anywhere. And as they say, library is the biggest deal on the earth. We run behind Flipkart and Amazon sales. But last week I traveled to Ooty and it almost spent around 30,000 rupees on the flights alone. And then I'm also listening to a audible ebook called The Martian, and in rupees 199 I'm able to go to Mars and experience what's there. So definitely the culture of library is coming down a little bit nowadays, but I agree with you. It should grow because it's a skill and it gives knowledge and exposure to whosoever takes benefit of that particular entity. Yeah, Toastmaster Deepak, do you want to go next?
Yeah, Toastmaster Rupesh. Thank you. So my reading journey started with I Have a Dream book written by Rasmi Bansal, and this book is related to entrepreneurship. That how there is a story about 15 people, 15 guys. Okay, 15 different stories who are all were passed from IMs and how they ventured into startup. Another I read by Rasmi Bansal, which is Connecting the Dots. So it is another book again about the entrepreneurship, but it is related to people who are not from IMs, and there are some people who are not even graduates. So I think there are many self development books, but I would recommend all of you to please go through something which is related to personal finance. Okay, because this is something it is so important that when we reach in our 30s, then after that we start realizing how it is really important, because it is not very taught in our school or college days, but it is something which have very huge impact in our life. And when we approach 40s or 50s, then we miss that how we have what to say left the importance of compounding. So right now I'm reading the book by uh, John Bogle, a little book of common sense in investing. So it talks about indexing. So after reading that book, I have just bought one index fund also. So that's all. Yeah. And when basically my how I started reading books, because when I was trying to prepare for GMAT, and when I entered into a classroom, I found myself in, I think, one of the lowest person who are good in English, very poor English I had at that time. And it is the story, I think, 10 year back, and after that I have read more than 100 books. And so I started that I searching in Google that 50 must read books, okay, in your entire life. And in one shot I bought 10 books, and that's how my reading journey started. Over to you, Toastmaster Rupesh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepak. Rashmi Bansal books are very effective and very easy to read books. So people who are just starting their journey, as Deepak mentioned, the 3 4 books by Rashmi Bansal are great read and very inspiring also. And yes, personal finance. I'll talk about few books, Deepak, in upcoming few topics. Next year, we would like to hear from Toastmaster Mitesh on his leadership journey.
Okay, am I audible? Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Krupesh. We are talking about reading, so I have taken back the habit of reading in a very recent years. But during my school time, we had a special library period in our timetable. So once in a week, we had a library period. So whenever we used to visit the librarian used to distribute some good story books. It used to be in Hindi also. It used to be in English also. So whenever it comes to storybooks, and I've always been fond of fantasy fiction, like the magical stories, and or which has some moral, which has some teach some moral values. So I've always loved that library period, always exploring the different storybooks. There was also one in Hindi called Pajatantra. So I read the series during my school time. Also, if I talk about reading in general, so I've also read some Hindi textbooks. Now, although I was not good with the language subjects, but when it comes to reading the stories, we had good stories in our textbooks also. So there were some good skits, and we used to also had a project to do in a language. So I used to enjoy that when we used to play the different characters of that particular skits or stories. So that was fun. So this was my reading during school time. But when I started the habit of reading in the recent years, because in order to improve my language skills, I started with the beginner level books. So I think Sudha Murthy is the best author to means of which you can read the books. So I've read Thousand Stitches and some more moral, because she teaches moral values in a very simple language with her real life story. So I loved about it, and it also puts me in engaging, because I don't like to read books that has a very complex language, or maybe has a good concepts, but due to the language barrier, maybe I'm not able to give the attention to it. So my preference are always to the simple language, and which has a more moral values to understand. So which when it comes to moral values of fantasy fiction. So currently I'm reading the book Dollar Bahu by Sudha Murthy. So this is the book. Is it visible? I don't know, but it's Dollar Bahu by Sudha Murthy. So again, it has a great value. Like, it teaches you that how we as Indians give more importance to the people who earn in dollars, basically the non-residential Indians, and instead of caring for the people who, instead of giving attention to the people who care for us in a real sense. So again, it's a great book. So yeah, it is I would recommend Sudha Murthy books if someone wants to begin reading. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mitesh, for sharing your leadership journey. Yes, Sudha Murthy is much more simple to read, as well as very rooted, and she talks about Indian values. I remember one anecdote she shared, that she stays in Kormangla, Bangalore, and she went to the local street vendor, Sabzi Wala, and she was buying, I guess, some potatoes, and she asked the rate. The potato wala, the Sabzi Wala said rupees 30 per kg. And in a minute, there is some person came there, was wearing Infosys iCard, and he asked what is the potato rate, and he said 40 rupees. And the engineer bought and went away. And Sudha Murthy asked him that, why did you tell higher rate than me? So the Sabji wala said, didn't you see he was carrying Infosys iCard? He has got a great salary. He can afford great Sabji. And we can just imagine how Sudha Murthy would have laughed internally, being the wife of the Infosys co-founder, but still getting a deal. Yeah. So last, because we are short of time, I'll go to Toastmaster Aditya and request him to share about his leadership journey.
Thank you, Toastmaster Krupesh. Am I audible? Yes, okay. So unlike most of the people here, my reading journey began while I was in and around 19, 20 years of age. While in school, I hated reading books. Absolutely. The only time I read books was in and around primary, and those were story books. Shivaji Maharaj and again Tenali Rama, all those books. So those were the books I read then. But now it was more due to, to be very honest, say due to peer pressure. I saw my friends reading books, so I thought, okay, even I should read. So that's a different reason for how it started. But I'm so glad that it happened. That post that phase, I've started reading books quite a lot. I mean, today the day doesn't go by where I don't read for some time. And it's not just books, I would say. There are so many forms of reading today. There are newsletters, which some renowned authors also publish. So that is also a form of reading that I follow. And to talk about one favorite book, which was one of the first books I actually read in and during COVID time. We had online college at that time. It is a business book. That's majorly what I read, what I like to read. The name of the book is The Biography of a Failed Venture. So unlike many success stories of businesses that we see in books, it is a story of how a business was made in India, but how it failed and the lessons from it. So it's written by the author named Prashant Desai. He used to work with Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, Kishore Biyani, the likes of business stalwarts in India. So I would definitely recommend you guys to read that book. It is written in a very Indian way, I would say. The author has also given the chapter names in Gujarati while starting. So it is very nice to read and very, very easy to read. And currently the book I'm reading is The CEO Factory. I don't know if you all have heard about it, but it is a book written by Sudhir Sitapati. It's more about how the culture of Hindustan Unilever, the company, cherishes and enriches so many leaders that many leaders in Indian businesses today have worked for HUL in the past. So how the HUL culture nurtures someone to become a CEO in future. So that's something I have read and I would like to recommend people to read. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya. And glad to see so many bibliophiles in the group. Good that we took this theme because we would have never come to know that there are so many book lovers in the group. And thanks, Aditya, for bringing in perspective that we should not only read success stories, but we should also read failure stories to learn from them as well as get different perspectives. So moving on, let's turn the page and move on to the formal agenda of the Toastmaster meeting. So Toastmaster meeting is divided into three parts: prepared speeches, table topic which is impromptu speeches, and the general evaluation section at the start. So let's start with the first section, and first section of prepared speeches is incomplete without the tech team, which is the team comprising of timer, R counter, and grammarian. And now we'll explain and invite the role bearers sequentially to explain about their roles and give the instruction. So first, I would like to invite the grammarian of today's meeting. So inviting one of the newest member of the club and one of the most enthusiastic member of the club in his enigmatic baritone voice. Over to you, Toastmaster Sai Prasad, to explain the grammarian role and instructions.
Thank you, Toastmaster Krupesh, for that wonderful introduction. My fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, as the grammarian for today's meeting, it is my duty to take a note of the not so good usage of languages and also highlight the good usage of languages that occurs during the prepared speeches and the table topics, as well as during the evaluation rounds. So for today's meeting, the word of the day will be is bibliophile, which means a lover or a collector of books. And an example of that could be My uncle is a true bibliophile. He has a library full of books in his right next to his bed. And the for the idiom of the day, I have chosen "Turn the Page." Maybe you have heard the song as well from Metallica. It means changing one's situation and doing something else. So, an example of that would be after ending my master's, I decided to turn the page and pursue my career in a different manner. So, I would like to request the members to give a silent thumbs up or a heart symbol whenever someone uses the word of the day and the idiom of the day. I will also be taking notes of whenever someone uses those, and I will display that at the end in my report. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Sai Prasad. Next up is the role of our counter. So, inviting here ever thoughtful and emerging HR leader of the industry, Toastmaster Sham, to help us with the guidelines for our counter.
Hi, thank you, Toastmaster Krupesh. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. My role as R counter is to record any unnecessary sounds made by speakers and role bearers. These include crutch sounds like ah, filler words such as but, like, so, okay, and use of filler phrases such as you know and so, etc., or extremely long pauses that they have. Right. So the basic reason to have an understanding of the crutch words or filler sounds is to acknowledge the times when we use them so that we are better aware of it, and we kind of consciously work on improving it. These crutch words or filler sounds obstruct the smooth flow of speech and can be annoying to listeners. At the same time, it decreases the value of the speech by acting as diminishers. Right? I'll present the R counter report when called upon by the general evaluator at the end of the meeting. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Krupesh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sham. Next is the role of timer, and inviting here the sincere soul of the Toastmaster Club and the man behind our Instagram pages and all our social media presence, VPPR of the group, Toastmaster Mitesh, to share the timing guidelines.
Thank you, Toastmaster Krupesh, for a warm introduction. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm Toastmaster Mitesh, and I will be the timer for today's meeting. As a timer, I will be helping the speakers to express their thoughts within the time limit. My duty is to time prepared speeches, table topic speeches, and speech evaluations during the meeting. To help me in performing my role, I have this set of 3 color cards. The green card indicates the qualifying time. I just show it. Just a second. The green card indicates the qualifying time for a speech. The yellow card indicates the target time for a speech. And the red card indicates the maximum time for a speech. For an icebreaker speech, I will show the green card at 4 minutes, the yellow card at 5 minutes, and the red card at 6 minutes. For 5 to 7 minutes prepared speech, I will show the green card at 5 minutes, the yellow card at 6 minutes, and the red card at 7 minutes. For the prepared speeches, we have a grace period of 30 seconds on either side of the time limit. I'll present the timing report when called upon by the general evaluator, when called upon by the Toastmaster of the day. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mitesh, for sharing the guidelines. Now let's turn the page and move to the next section of prepared speeches. And we all are definitely very lucky, and guests are even more luckier because today is the day when there are 2 prepared speeches and the levels are L4 and L5. So basically, these are the speeches from senior members of the Toastmasters. So looking forward to it. So first speech is from Toastmaster Utkarsha, and I'll first invite the speech evaluator Toastmaster Misha to talk about Toastmaster Utkarsha's speech. So welcome Toastmaster Misha, veteran member of the club, expert TMOD, expert table topic master, acclaimed grammarian. Over to you, Toastmaster Misha.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much, Toastmaster Krupesh, for that wonderful, warm, and beautiful, complimented-filled introduction. I will shamelessly take and I'll flaunt it, and I'll accept every compliment you have said, whether it's true or not. Moving on, Toastmaster Utkarsha will be attempting her L4P1. The purpose of a speech is to practice developing a plan, building a team, and fulfilling a plan with the help of her team. The purpose of the second speech, which she is about to give, is for the speaker to share some aspect of her experience managing a project. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Misha, and a great example of how to accept and compliment too for all of us. Uh, so, inviting Toastmaster Utkarsha for a speech. Toastmaster Utkarsha, project accomplished. Toastmaster Utkarsha, over to you.
I hope I'm audible and visible. So, good evening. Sorry. So, very good morning to all fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Have you ever got any impromptu assignments? Maybe a quick yes or a heads nod or a thumbs up. Yes. So, the way in Toastmasters we have impromptu speeches, the way one day my manager called me and I got this impromptu assignment. He said, there's one assignment that we have to prepare a concept for a sustainable training center. And then I was in a dilemma. And that's how I got my impromptu assignment, impromptu project. Initially, it was a great thought or a great topic of dilemma for me because I was not an expert of this topic. And sustainability now is no more a buzzword. Catering the needs for today without compromising the needs for future is what sustainability means. And when my manager told me that I have to present a speech, I have to present a proposal to the client where we have to prepare a training center, which is a sustainable training center. Now, what does a sustainable training center means? That right from its planning stage, its design stage, during the construction, using the building materials which are sustainable, and delivering the end sustainable training center. And that's how the concept of sustainable training center came into picture. So initially, I was quite into a great dilemma. How will I deliver this project? And the most important and the crucial part, which I felt, was finding my own team and building my own team. So I reached out to people who had expertise in terms of designing and passive technologies that are integrated into a building. So my manager, I asked him to be a guide for this project, and he guided me how to take the topics ahead with respect to demand. I reached out to a colleague of mine who is an architect, and she helped me with a lot of technical terms with respect to this. The most crucial team member for me was a person, my colleague Mr. Krishnamurthy, from my procurement team, because he was the key member who helped me to find right consultants, right contractors who were actually doing this kind of sustainable building work into the market. And this is how my journey began, with managing the team, building the team, and getting the concept, the way concept of creating a sustainable training center, from a concept to a propose. And again, this particular concept was very vague for me. So we started working on this particular topic with a structured approach. Now, when I say structured approach, what is the demand? So we invited the customer, we understood from them what is the demand for the project, what are you actually looking for, what are the amenities you're looking for, what is the location you're looking for. We did a site visit, took a detailed structure from them, understood their demand, and got it on the paper. The next stage was a thorough detailing with my SCM team to get the consultant onboarded. And I was lucky enough, my SCM team supported me well, and we were able to onboard a consultant who actually helped us beautifully design and cater all our requirements of getting a sustainable training center with the available space within our premises. Now, once this particular concept was prepared, you all know that timelines and budget are always a constraint for a project. Every customer wants the work done to be day before yesterday, and the cost to be always within a budget, within a minimal budget. So cost and timelines were a challenge for me. So detailing out the timelines, planning each and every activity within a detailed manner helped me to basically get all the details done within time. And we were able to prepare that proposal in a constrained time within the budget which customer wanted. Now, the major challenges, or I would say the skills which I developed with respect to while managing this project was, first and the foremost, was a structured approach. Because creating a thought from a vague manner to converting into a concept and a proposal, it required a structured approach to cater it. The second and the most important part was decision making. Timing and budget being a constraint, decisions making was very much crucial in each and every aspect, because whenever the consultant used to present a lot of designs and concepts, we had to take a bias call that, okay, is it actually going to happen, or it's just a thought process which we are trying to struggle with. So in all these aspects, I was able to take decisions better again with the help of my team. All the team members supported. So decision making was one of the experiences and the skills which I developed while managing this process. And third and the foremost, most important, which I would say, which I was highlighting since start of my speech, was the teamwork. This would not have been possible without team supporting me in a way in which they did, because this was something new for all of us. So the teamwork is something which I realize that is very important. And for that teamwork, there has to be a trust, a mutual trust among all the team members who are doing it, taking the responsibility for each and everyone when the other person is not available, supporting timely, going out of the box and out of the way to help other team members. So this was one of the crucial learnings when experienced and managed this project. And I would like to share with you all that gladly, that when we presented our proposal to our management, it was through with them, and we proposed it to client, and they also liked the concept of the training center, and now the project is under the phase of execution. So fellow Toastmasters, let me quickly share my screen and show to you all a glimpse of the training center, which we have tried to prepare. I think the screen sharing is disabled, no problem. But I'll share the screenshot with you all later. But that's how my journey was attending this particular, managing and attending this particular project. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Utkarsha. Next is the speech from our veteran Toastmaster Tariq. So I'll request Toastmaster Manisha to come here and explain the guidelines and introduce about his speech.
Sorry to interrupt you, Toastmaster Prapesh. I was not able to see the timer card, so maybe you can check with the next speaker.
Yes, sure. So, Toastmaster Aditya, I will request you to spotlight Mitesh. His was visible in only his window. So, for the next speech, I will request you to spotlight speaker as well as timer so that everyone can see. Yeah, over to you,
Toastmaster, just a moment. I'm not getting the meeting controls on my end. I had to leave the meeting because of a network error some time ago. So I'm not actually able to get the controls of the meeting to do that.
Who would be the host? Deepak, would it be you?
Yeah, I'm host, Toastmaster.
So, can you make Toastmaster Aditya also co-host? And
Yeah,
if you can spotlight Mitesh and next speaker, please.
yeah, Adit, I have given you the access.
Yes, I got it. All right. Good to go.
Yeah, over to you, Toastmaster Manisha.
Thank you, Toastmaster Krupesh. I hope I'm audible and visible to everybody. All right,
Yes.
Thank you. My speaker, Tariq, today, Toastmaster Tariq, is delivering a keynote speech, which is timed for 20 minutes. Timer, please make a note of the total time for this particular speech. The speech title is Thriving on Overload, which is already making me very intrigued onto the speech. So, Toastmaster Tariq, Thriving on Overload, Toastmaster Tariq.
Am I audible and visible? All right. Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody is doing good. Do you know what is this? Everybody knows what is this, right? This is navigating the digital deluge, managing information overload in the internet era. It is a privilege to speak to you today about a topic that affects all of us, information overload in the area of internet. My name is Tariq Sheth, and I have spent a couple of years studying the impacts of digital technology in our lives, which is the digital revolution. There is an explosion of information all around us. The internet has revolutionized the way we access information on an everyday basis. Approximately 2.5 quintillion bytes of data are created, shared, and consumed. Social media, news websites, blogs, academic articles, and videos flood us with information every millisecond. What are the benefits? This digital abundance has democratized knowledge, allowing unprecedented access to education, news, and of course, entertainment. Defining what is information overload. Everybody here in this room knows what is information, but may or may not know what is information overload. The term information overload was coined by Bertram Gross, the professor of political science at Hunter College, in his 1964 work, The Managing of Organization. However, it was popularized by Alvin Toffler, the American writer and futurist, in his book, which is called as Future Shock in 1970. Gross defined information overload as follows. Information overload occurs when the amount of input to a system exceeds its processing capacity. Decision makers have fairly limited cognitive processing capacity. Consequently, when information overload occurs, it is likely that a reduction in decision quality will occur. Information overload occurs when the amount of input to a system exceeds its processing capacity. What does that mean? How it impacts the cognitive impact. With the digitalization of both the work and the private life, information is available in large quantities in digital form. We live in an information society, narrated by Kravelikst in 2007 research paper. It is possible to conveniently and actively access diverse information and also passively receive large amount of information and messages. Currently, the amount of information that is created every 2 days is roughly equivalent to the amount of information that was created between the beginning of human civilization and the year 2003. That is almost 2003 years. This is the research mentioned by Jackson and Fazet, 2012. Several papers have already been addressed and theoretical grouping of the factors that contribute to information overload and consequences of information overload presented by Graf and Antonin in 2020. Information overload is a well-documented phenomena in 2024. How it is impacting various sectors. With significant research and shedding light on its prevalence and effects, here are some key statistics that I would like to mention about the findings of the recent studies. First, prevalence. A global survey revealed 80% of the workers experience information overload. Second, demographics. A Pew Research Center survey found that 20% of Americans feel overwhelmed by the information, and 77% enjoy having abundant information at their disposal. Number three, impact on productivity and well-being. Research indicates an inverted U-shaped relationship between information and performance initially when the person starts consuming a lot of information. In their framework model, the concept of information is that several interrelated causes of the overloading. And this is also mentioned to the cognitive load theory, which suggests that human working memory is limited to approximately 7 plus minus 2 units of information. So we are clearly not evolved using this many information in our lifetime and in the history of mankind. Now, what is the load that will cause us, which will be extraneous, intrinsic, and German cognitive load? Extraneous, such as very complex information, which is going to take time in order to process in our brain, which will also damage a person's decision making capability. What are the personal implications of information overloading? Number one, constant notifications, emails, and social media updates create a relentless stream of information that demands our attention. And the result, fragmented attention. So your attention span will get reduced and reduced and reduced. This will also reduce your productivity and impaired with mental well-being. These are the personal implications. What are the professional implications? In the workplace, information overload can lead to a decreased efficiency, which will have increased errors and increased burnout. Employees struggle to keep with the constant influx of emails, reports, notifications, and meetings. Now, how do you strategize to combat this? Let me share you my story. Like many of you, I have felt the pressure of information overload in my professional as well as personal life. I remember a time when I was working on a major project with a very tight timeline. I was constantly bombarded with emails, messages, meetings, notifications, my phone, my computer, and even my smartwatch seemed to be a relentless competition to capture my attention. As a consequence, I found it increasingly difficult to concentrate and focus on my deliverables. I would start working on one task only to be interrupted by the notification, jump on to the next one, and leading down a rabbit hole of information that was often irrelevant. Now, what did I do to overcome that? I tried to switch off few notifications, reserve focused hours uninterrupted to, to focus on the things which is relevant and only the information that I need to complete my task. To this, my stress level were reduced and my ability to make clear, informed decisions were increased. How does it impact in our daily life? Let's talk about a personal implication. This will prompt you to do the prioritization over and over and over, again and again and again. How does that work? That works because you have a lot of information, and every second a new information will pop up, either in the form of an email or a notification or a post or anything that you can have it on a digital device. The role of the technology in managing the information is very, very important. How it is important? Let me give you an example. I was preparing for a big presentation at work, and I wanted to make sure that I knew everything about the topic, everything as in everything. I did a lot of research. I decided to do a deep dive. I decided to spend countless hours in order to research the sources, articles, books, videos, podcasts, and even the expert interviews. I was all over the place. I had so many tabs open on my computer that I lost the count. One night, I was up late trying to absorb all this information. My desk was covered with sticky notes, whiteboard covered with the diagrams, which is complex diagrams, and my brain felt like I was going to explode. I even started dreaming about the topic. I had wake up in the middle of the night thinking about new points to add it to my presentation. On the day of the presentation, do you know what happened? On the day of the presentation, I walked into the conference room with a massive binder full of notes. I started my presentation, and a few minutes in, do you know what happened? I realized I was overloading my audience with way too much of an information. People started to look confused, and some even looked a bit panicked. Midway through, my boss interrupted me and said, "Okay, I think we have got enough information for now. Why don't you give us a quick summary?" I froze for a second, realizing that I had gone way overboard. I took a deep breath, closed my binder, and gave a very simple, straightforward summary. The room relaxed, and so am I. And my boss smiled and said, "Okay, I think we have got enough of information and enough of summary as well now." And after the meeting, my colleagues jokingly started calling me Professor Overload. It was a funny and humbling experience that taught me the importance of simplicity and clarity in communication. How the information overload will happen in the era of artificial intelligence and machine learning. Artificial intelligence can help manage information by filtering and prioritizing the information for you. Tools like smart assistants and recommendation algorithms can personalize information streams to our feeds so that we can filter out what is unnecessary. Mindful design. Tech companies are coming up with a product which will help you to be mindful while you do and focus on a particular task. Features like do not disturb modes and time tracking utilities can help users manage their screen time. Whatever is measured can be managed. So if you measure your screen time, if you measure your information, if you measure your sources of the information, you can definitely manage it better. Now, in conclusion, how we as a human being can embrace this as a challenge. Overload is an inevitable consequence of our digital age, and that's not going to go away. But with the right strategy, with the right attitude, and with also the right amount of information that we need, this is going to be very helpful for us to manage it effectively. How do we manage it effectively? We manage it by prioritizing, by filtering, and also being mindful about what is needed and what is not needed. Both are important, all right? You would agree what is needed for us right now. When we consume that information, it may or may not be needed in future, because the revolution and evolution of the information is going to continue for decades and centuries to come. So it is up to us. How do we manage that information? It is up to us. How do we manage the overloading of the information? What is the call to action for all of us? Let us all commit to taking a control of our information environments, making conscious choices about the information that we consume, and supporting each other in this journey towards a balanced digital life. Now, let us go again. What is balanced digital life? Can I have a show of hand? How many of you measure your daily usage of the screen time? How many of you? Just a quick show of hands, please. Oh, nice. Thanks, Misha. Anybody? Thanks, Aditya.
I don't measure as such, but just try to keep tab of it too. बहुत ज़्यादा तो
That's great. That's great. So, as I mentioned, if it is measured, that can be managed. If it is not measured, it cannot be managed. If you start from today, very simple rule of restricting yourself with a digital time of 2 hours or 3 hours, whatever suits you, right? You will be able to manage your time better, and you will be able to manage your information better, and you will save yourself from the burnout. Let me share a couple of thoughts at the end of my speech. Number one, thumb rule, which everybody should follow, as per my suggestion, is switch off all of your digital devices after 10 o'clock in the night. So from 10 o'clock to 6 or 7 in the morning, you should be completely off of the digital devices. It could be your computer, it could be your mobile, it could be your TV as well. Once you are getting off 8 hours a day, you have already saved yourself 33% of your daytime not using any of the digital devices. Recommendation number 2 or suggestion number 2, when you do a scrolling or search or a research, be very mindful, because our mind drifts away on the ocean of the information. So we try to search one thing, another thing comes in, we try to search another thing, the third thing comes in, right? So in my mind, I'll be having 20 tabs open, right? Now this will consume a lot of my attention. This will consume a lot of my time and effort, because the human energy is limited. You can't work 24/7. So you need to save your time by being mindful about how you are spending your research. Number 3, and which is very relevant to our today's theme, Bookmasters. You can get information on the internet, which is a little bit at higher level. But if you want to go deeper, you need to read books. You cannot have a doctor's degree by watching YouTube. And you will not allow any doctor who is having a degree in doctor or in medical by YouTube videos, right? But you would need a doctor who has researched, written papers, and also have a degree by reading lots and lots and lots of books, because they have gone in depth of the topic and the area of their expertise, right? So if you do these 3 suggestions, you will save yourself a lot of time, effort, energy, and you will save yourself attention as well. And you will identify yourself as a different individual if you continue this for about a month. And that's all from my side. Thank you, everyone. I'm opening up for any questions that you may have as part of the speech.
Okay, Toastmaster Tariq, can you share the suggestions once again? Like the third suggestion, the one is that we have to switch off all the devices at night, and the second is we have to be very mindful while searching or researching an topic. What is the third suggestion? Can you repeat?
So my third suggestion was about being mindful. Okay, let me repeat all the 3 suggestions. The first suggestion is you need to be conscious about your time and what the topic that you are researching. Second suggestion is about being mindful what you are researching. And third is you take your suggestions not from the internet but from the books, because reading the books will give you in-depth information rather than searching for a particular topic for hours and hours and hours. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tariq. And I completely agree books are related to your theme, that they give us concise and consolidated knowledge rather than going for a information overload. So before we move to next section, I would invite you to play a game, a kind of puzzle. So I'll start sharing my screen. Let me know if it's visible or not.
Yes, it's up.
It's visible? Yeah.
Yes.
So I have shared a few book covers and I have hidden some portion of it. Now, when I have heard all of you, I feel that it's very easy for this forum, but nonetheless, let's go for it. So you can unmute yourself and shout out the answer, whoso knows it. Yeah,
How to
guess the
make
book.
friends.
Hey, is it
Dale
effective
Carnegie.
How
communication?
to win people and influence,
How to win?
How to make friends and influence people. Dale
by Dale
Influence
Carnegie.
people.
Carnegie.
Yes, I've read
Carnegie.
this. Yeah. How to
Nice.
win
Yes, correct.
friends and influence.
So whosoever is starting the leadership journey, this is one book which you can read. Very nice tips about networking and how to effectively communicate with people and make them your friends. So lot of good tips and techniques. So one of these is always call the person by his name, because name of the person is the sweetest sound for any person, including us. So that is one tip from that book. Yeah, this is the next one.
Life of Pi.
Life of Pi.
Fantastic. Yeah, very long book. So people who are in L4 and L5 level of Bookmasters can attempt it, and lesser mortals like me can go for a movie which is visually stunning movie and also has a fun fun.
I would like to go for a movie.
Sure.
Oxford
But I
English
can't get
Dictionary.
Word English dictionary. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So
this is
people
Oxford
from
English.
people on the wrong side of 30 would have definitely used it, because
I have
nowadays
the
this
mini
is the
dictionary
time
also.
around. Sure. So this was our go-to book in our school times, definitely.
Some novel by Agatha Christie. Not sure which
Yeah.
one.
There is a word in it. Okay. No one?
Can you give a hint?
No, no hints. So yeah, and then there were none. There was a Bollywood movie some people would remember called Gumnam, wherein 10 people go on a island and one by one person gets killed. So this is the book on which the movie is made. Short book and a fantastic book. It is one of the most known book of Agatha Christie. So people who are not getting started easily on their readership journey can start with a thriller, because you won't be able to keep this book down once you start it.
I will note down.
Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita.
Correct.
Yeah, it's a Bhagavad Gita.
Sure. So people who want to explore the spiritual side of theirs or want to learn about Indian philosophy as such can attempt this book.
Rapidex English
Rapidex speaking.
English Rapidex.
Yeah. So I'm not recommending this book to anyone in the forum, but yeah, just for the nostalgia factor, maybe some of your parents would have bought this book when you were a kid.
You can win.
You Can Win by Shiv Khera.
Yeah. This is the book which, in a way, introduced self-help genre to most of the Indians, because till now there was no Indian author as acclaimed in this space like Shiv Khera. Yeah, again, a light read. People who want to start can start with this book. Very nice and short stories and a good message at the end of each story.
Norman Lewis.
Word power made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, word power.
We
I
used
want
to
to
call it
try
Red Book,
some.
and people who sir have attempted CAT, GMAT, or GRE would definitely have given a try with this book. And this book teaches the aspect of language that even if you don't know the meaning of a particular word, you can try to derive it by trying to judge what is the root word of that particular word, and you can try to get the meaning. So people who want to improve their vocabulary, I would definitely recommend this book.
5 Points of Man by
5
Chetan
points.
Bhagat. Yeah.
Sure. All the mechanical engineers, or for that matter, any other engineer would have read this book. This brought Chetan Bhagat on the national limelight in around the year 2004. Again, a light read recommended for people who are just starting to read.
My
No,
Story
experiment
of
with
My
truth.
Experiments with Truth by Mahatma Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So yeah, we have Mahatma Gandhi's photo on our currency notes, and if someone is interested in knowing his story, how did he became Mahatma, starting from
Yes.
a regular person, and very honest. Most of the autobiography generally talk about the good things, but Gandhiji very openly and honestly talks about his flaws, and that's why the book title has word experiment in it. So definitely recommended.
Atomic
Atomic
Habits.
Yeah. So Kalpesh, you mentioned about this book. Uh, Very nice tricks
Yeah.
in these books if you want to change some habits. So as Toastmaster Sai mentioned that his father sold off the TV. So that is one of the tricks in the book that if you want to stop a particular habit, make it impossible. You won't be able to do it. Let's say you want to stop watching Netflix. So you stop your subscriptions and remove Netflix app from your phone as well as from the phones of your family members. So this book I would definitely recommend to everyone. It talks about how to take care of good habits as well as how to avoid bad habits, how to make it good habits attractive, easy to access, and how to avoid bad habits by making them very difficult or unpleasant or impossible to do. So everyone should definitely read this in the self improvement genre. Only an acclaimed bibliophile would be able to guess it. It's not a very well known book. But Deepak, this is what I was hinting at the start, talking about personal finance. So this is a very simple and easy read called The Parable of Pipeline. So it talks about a story of two men who want water at their home. So first person keeps on going to well with a bucket, and every day he comes back and brings water. And another man says that no, I will put efforts to build a pipeline. So he puts initial efforts at the start building a pipeline, but after building the pipeline after 3 months, now every day very easily he is able to get water. And this is then linked to personal finance. That people who do job are people like the person with the bucket. Every day they have to go and then get the money. But people who build their mutual fund portfolio, ETF portfolio, or maybe build a business, after certain time period, they would automatically keep on getting money and no need to work very hard. So people who are starting on personal finance, very important topic, and it is not for us in the colleges and schools, can start with this book as well as other personal finance.
Sapiens.
Yeah. Sapiens.
Sapiens.
Bestseller book, millions of copies sold, and talks about human evolution, how language took birth, how cultures develop, how nationalities develop. So very interesting anecdotes in these books, and definitely recommend. So yeah, that's it from my side. And let's turn the page again and move to the next section of table topics. So over to you, Toastmaster Sai Prasad. I have eaten into some time of yours, so I'll request you to keep watch how many table topics you want to take today. Anyways, Mitesh will barge in between if you are going overboard with the time. Over to you, Toastmaster Sai Prasad.
Thank you, Toastmaster Krupesh. Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. We heard some fantastic speeches by our members and many impromptu speeches in the beginning. And Toastmaster Krupesh has been uh, like, Toastmaster Krupesh has been quite uh, effervescent with usages of certain quotes and linguistic uh, type of linguistic flair that he usually brings whenever he gives speeches. And today, like now, is the time for unplanned speeches. So these would be primarily useful in situations where, practically speaking, your boss might ask you for some input during a meeting, or you have to give a speech at a family gathering, for example. And this will give you the practice to give that speech confidently without feeling uncomfortable. And the best way to do that is through practice. So here at Toastmasters today, I would encourage you to all of you to participate in this session, and anyone who has not spoken yet and people who have already spoken can also participate. Now I will call the timer, Toastmaster Mitesh, to give the timing guidelines for the table topics.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sai Prasad. Okay, for table topic session, each speaker is encouraged to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. I will show the green card at the end of 1 minute, the yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds, and the red card at 2 minutes. For table topics speeches, we have a grace period of 30 seconds only on the upper side of the time limit. I will present the timing report when called upon by the table topic master. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mitesh. Yeah, let's start then. Who would like to go first? Um, can you raise your hands? Oh, yeah.
We'll encourage someone who has not spoken yet.
It's Neeraj.
Yeah,
Okay.
Toastmaster Neeraj. Okay, Toastmaster Neeraj. Uh, so today's topics are a little bit uh, not directly related to books. They're slightly whimsical as well. So your topic is, imagine a world where books could talk, and what would your favorite book say to you?
Okay.
Toastmaster Neeraj, everyone.
Toastmaster Sai, just one update. Okay. First you start with the name, then repeat topics 2 times, then name.
Just another quick suggestion. Can you have the timer also on the screen so that we can see
Yeah,
when the time is up?
if you can pin me. Thank you.
If I can
Ye-
request, can I ask Toastmaster Sai Prasad to reiterate it again? If the books can talk,
What would your favorite book say to you?
okay. Yeah. So is it good to go? Can I start? Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, when I compare myself with the people around here, I have very limited experience with the books. As I could say, I have started reading quite recently, only in the past, I would say, like 4 to 5 years. So I have been reading quite basic books. To be honest, my interest is finance, so I have been reading books similar to it, of the same category. So I would speak of a book which I read initially, or at the very first finance book that I read. It was called Coffee Can Investing. Uh, it is basically based on it basically focuses on the importance of long-term investing. So I would say the exact things which are mentioned in that book, that if a book can speak to me, then I think that would be the topic which I would say, right? When we are living, the world we are living right now is quite um, obsessed with generating quick returns, right? When we invest. So this book teaches us the importance of patience the importance of patience, and the time frame that we should be remain invested for a longer time, as that would help us in a much better way to in generating returns as compared to churning our portfolio every now and then and going after money in search of exponential returns. So that's one thing I would say which the book has spoken to me in that terms, and it's one of the very few books which have helped me to not get into gambling or sort of the can I say, like not in search of exponential returns, or rather than be disciplined and be content with the returns or the what the market is speaking. So, yeah, that's the only thing I have to say. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Neeraj. You elucidated a very good point there, that investment in stock markets should be long term if you don't have the expertise. And if you do, still you should be careful when you are day trading, because it is a gamble and the market is driven by the big players, and most of the small players are basically left playing catch up or playing the prediction game, like they have some kind of a crystal ball. So uh, thank you for that book suggestion, as well as the insights you gleaned from that. Moving on to the next person, who would like to go next?
That's Kalpesh.
Kalpesh. Yeah, Toastmaster Kalpesh. So I have an interesting topic for you. Discuss the impact of books on shaping cultural and social movements. Discuss the impact of books on shaping cultural or social movements. Toastmaster Kalpesh.
Thank you, Travel Topic Master, for this wonderful topics. And of course, as people are book is the best friend. If you have a habit to read the book, there is no need any friends. You can stay with your book for longer than one. There is no need for anything, because books will help you to see the windows of outside of your home. So this is way you can culture it. Of course, nowadays you can get many kind of books, many kind of authors. They have written some very nice books. You have to pick up whatever you choose. And if you want to know about culture and all, then book would be help you to understand of any culture. If you're living in India and if you want to know about any other country, you can just read the books. No need to go there and explore there. You have this capacity to read the books. And of course, nowadays, we have a lot of information on internet, as Postmaster Tariq is mentioned, unwanted information. We need to filter which is helpful for us. So there's a way you have this mindset to read this right book. This way you can explore, you can get to know only filtered information which is required to us, rather than getting abundant information which is not required for us. So this is the best way to filter. This is the best way to choose what we can do better, and which book would be help us to work. In social life, you can see now social media, a lot of information is bombard there, they be putting unwanted information which is helping to, which is deleting, or I would say, which is killing our productivity. But you have this mindset, and if you are reading the right books, it will help you to change your mindset. And you have a good mindset, good thought process, then you can easily can filter out which would be good for you. And this way book help lot to understand culture, lot to understand social media, social interaction, everything we can understand, right? You can see Japan's people have a different mindset, other people have different mindset. Through book you can get to know how they love their culture, how we can do it. Over to Table Topic Master. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kalpesh, for highlighting uh, the impact of digital media and how one can filter all the noise that exists out there. Um, Moving on, who would like to go next?
Toastmaster Sam.
Yeah, I can go next.
Yeah, Toastmaster Sham. The topic for you is, if books had never been invented, how would humanity be different today? If books had never been invented, how would humanity be different today? Toastmaster Sham.
So, what's the alternate to books? That's how this topic can be rephrased, right? And that makes us thinking in terms of how was knowledge transferred all this while before scripts or texts were invented, right? So, would it have been a dystopian era wherein there was no knowledge transfer that would have happened? No, that's not what we could have expected, right? Because if we were to talk about it, before texts and books were invented, people still used to transfer whatever knowledge was there, right? And it used to happen in a more oral fashion. So if you were to talk about all our religious scriptures that have been handed over generations, right? It all started way back in the ages when there was no written uh, recording of scriptures that used to happen, but it was an oral way of communication of knowledge. If we were to talk about even the four Vedas that got handed down the ages, or be it other religious books or texts, or say other knowledge of astrology, all of it used to get transferred in an oral tradition, in an oral format, wherein knowledge used to be transferred by the sages back then, or the teachers or priests back then, in an oral format. The only limiting factor or the bottleneck to that would have been the language, because uh, since it was more in an oral format, understanding of a particular knowledge or comprehension would require that you need to have an understanding of the particular language in which the particular text uh, is getting spoken in, right? So it still would have been so world still would have been good had books not been there, just that the modality would have been different. Yeah, over to you, Toastmaster. Thanks.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sham, for that insightful commentary. Uh, I completely agree with you when you say that humans would have found another way to transmit the knowledge. And it feels to me like books are something that is very key to our age right now. And before books were invented, before writing and the printing press was invented, the people used to transmit knowledge orally. And I feel with Neuralink from Elon Musk, it might be also possible that in the future books will be directly downloaded into our heads when we are born. So it feels like books are a main feature of the era that we live in right now, which is yeah, very physical in a way. So moving on to the next topic, who would like to volunteer?
I can go.
Deepak.
Toastmaster Deepak.
Yeah. Yeah, Toastmaster Deepak. Uh, the topic for you is describe a book that reflects your personality and why.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sai, for giving me such a wonderful topic. Uh, the book which reflects me means there is not any particular book, but there are some books. It means if you combine, then it can reflect me. Means, for example, some book related to finance. Like I read the book by Peter Lynch, Once Upon a Wall Street, and where he talk about that how to identify some good shares. Okay, because all the stories are nearby. For example, if we, and what is about investment if we start. So basically, the company who gives good return, or the company or the business they are in, they are in the business which is sustainable. For example, if you speak about any FMCG product, so that is the business which is going to uh, means will definitely last. Okay, any business related to pharma or chemical is definitely going to be last for a long time. If you go around, you find that yeah, particular this product people are using. For example, if you take any makeup or beauty product, so the demand for particular those things are never going to disappear. Okay, any any makeup product like soap or any powder or any cream, that is something which will always be there. So you can search a story there, then you can go to and survey. You can go to Reliance or DMart, okay, and there you can find that which products uh, are moving very fast from the shelves. So that is one part of investing. And second, I would speak about the improvement. For example, if you read book about atomic habits, so I try to go with particular that book and try to imbibe some learning from that book. That learning is something continuous, and even a small step for improvement over the long time makes a really big impact. So start with a small, but over the long time, if you speak about 5 to 10 years, it will definitely have a very great impact. So these two type of books can describe it. Over to you, Toastmaster Sai.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepak. What I observed is common between the themes of these two seemingly unrelated books is that both Atomic Habits and the book by Peter Lynch, they emphasize the importance of compounding with anything. So starting small and then letting that grow is something that we should all understand, that nothing that is worth achieving can be achieved in one day. As they say, Rome was not built in a day. And we should never underestimate the impact of these small steps that we take towards our goal. So thank you for highlighting that, Toastmaster Deepak. So who would like to go next?
Maybe we can go with the guest.
Yes.
Vikram, you can take.
Yes, Vikram.
Yes, I would like to attempt.
Great, great. Toastmaster Vikram, everyone. The topic for you, Toastmaster Vikram, is. Wait a second. If you could have dinner with three characters from your favorite books, who would they be and why? If you could have dinner with three characters from different books, who would they be and why? Toastmaster Vikram, everyone.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sai, for giving me this nice topic. I would like to have dinner with three favorite characters of whom I have read the book. One is Robin Sharma, uh, second is Grant Cardone, and third is uh, Phil Knight. So when I read the book of 5 a.m. Club of Robin Sharma, so it inspired me in waking up early 5 a.m. and I discovered that extra 1 or 2 hours in the morning, which I could dedicate for my health or for study or reading books and increasing my knowledge. When I read book of Grant Cardone, the book's name is 10X. It encourages one to push themselves to work 10 times harder, to set their goals 10 times up, so that uh, you achieve your goals, overachieve your goals. And third, one of my favorite book which I read recently is Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, and it is about the entrepreneurial journey of Phil Knight, how we started selling shoes by getting it made in Japan and started selling it in USA and made it as a billion-dollar brand. So very inspiring. So if I have a opportunity to have a dinner with them, it would be the best thing to happen to me. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Sai.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vikram, for that uh, insightful speech. Uh, my thought process when I wrote down this question was that it would be three fictional characters, but I really liked your spin on it. In that, whenever we read non-fiction, the author itself is the character in the book because they are elucidating their own experiences. So, uh, yeah, from that point of view, I would say it makes sense uh, that what you said, and definitely having dinner with real figures would be much more fruitful and more rewarding than fictional characters. So going to the next topic. Who would like to go?
Guest Abhijit, guest Rishikesh, would you like to try?
Yeah, sure. I would like to try.
Uh, Please, someone pin the guest so that.
Yeah. So guest Abhijit, the topic that I have for you is describe a scene from a book that you can visualize perfectly as if it were a movie. Describe a scene from a book that you can visualize perfectly as if it were a movie.
Okay. Uh, do I get time 10 seconds to think? Which book? Uh, okay. Top of the head, I mean, one of the books that I've read recently is Your Prime Minister is Dead. It is about the death of our second Prime Minister, Shastriji. And there, the author's name is Anuj Dhar. And there he has created, I mean, he has written it in a very flowy way. And I basically read that book because I came across that movie Tashkent Files. So since you have said that if you can describe it as a scene, the very last picture that they have of him alive is taken out from a road that was just outside his room, and he was walking in that room. That was the last picture that it was taken of his. So the way he has uh, written that scene in words, that he didn't knew that it was his last day. He didn't knew. He was very happy. He did talk to his family over the phone, and then he was just, the way we have a small walk after dinner. In that way, he was walking, and he had a massive cardiac arrest, and he died. There were many speculations. There are many speculations. There are many questions. The book addresses that, but the way he has written it in an emotional yet practical way, that yeah, it gives you the feel that the author is quite involved in the matter, and he has written it from the depth of his heart. And he was quite literally sad when he was writing that. You can feel when you are reading that the way it is maybe of 1.5 page length, but he has described that the last picture that was taken of him was having a walk in his own room in Tashkent, which is in Uzbekistan. I think that's it.
Yeah, thank you, guest Abhijit, for painting that picture in front of our eyes.
Thank you.
That's the caveat of a good author, that they can really make you feel that you are there in the scene and witnessing things as an observer.
Yes.
And you highlighted that perfectly through your speech. So thank you for that. And
Thank you.
who would like to go next? If we have time, timer Mitesh.
Yes, we can take the last participant.
Okay. So one last participant for the day.
I think the guest, is there any other guest who can,
Guest Rishikesh,
No,
yeah.
Rishikesh took
Toastmaster,
off.
Toastmaster Karshi, Toastmaster Manisha, would you like?
Yeah. Nisha. Toastmaster Manisha. Okay.
I think, yeah.
Did you mention
So
Toastmaster Manisha or Toastmaster Nisha? We've got some similar syllables,
Both.
so can be
We have
confusing.
Oh,
we have mentioned both.
we have plenty of
okay.
topics. We
Yeah,
can
if
do both as
Toastmaster
well.
Manisha, okay, if you can.
Yeah, sure.
So for Toastmaster Manisha, the topic for you is How do you think the invention of the printing press changed the world compared to the advent of the internet? How do you think the invention of the printing press changed the world compared to the advent of the internet? Toastmaster Manisha, everyone.
Thank you for that great topic. It's very intriguing for a Sunday, but I will give it a go. I think the era that we are in today is much more option oriented. We've got a lot of options, and we got internet at a stage where the base grassroots were already laid out, and we already had modes of connection, information that were available. So, not taking it away from the internet of what uh, pathways were led and what breakthroughs were achieved, but the printing press came at a time where we were all literally starved of information being available. And at that moment, it was very critical and crucial for information to flow through the proper channels and be freely available to everybody who wanted to know more, to read more, to understand more. And that led to a breakdown of a concept of what what is understood is not feared. So it was very critical at that stage. We were fighting for freedom, and and along with us, a lot of other nations were fighting for freedom, were fighting for rights, equal rights. So at that stage, it was very critical. So I think it's a perfect example of how timing matters when you innovate, and that stage really mattered whether or not we could go forward from there on. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manisha, for that eye-opening uh, connection that you drew between the internet age and the age of the printing press. Um, similar to what happened during our freedom struggle, where the British were trying to control the information flow, and the printing press was a medium to spread knowledge at that time. And there were many newspapers like Swarajya by Lokmanya Tilak, uh, which was used to spread information at that time. And similar to that in Europe, what led to the Renaissance was also the invention of the printing press. So one cannot, in an age of darkness, let's say, it led to enlightenment and freedom. And for the common man, nothing is more important, I would say. So thank you for that insight. Uh, we still have more topics. So Misha, if you would like to go.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what book do you wish had a different ending, and how would you rewrite it? What book do you wish had a different ending, and how would you rewrite it? Toastmaster Misha, everyone.
Uh, yeah, please spotlight us, and Misha.
Thank you so much, Sai, for that lovely question. It has actually made me think now what is the book that I wanted to change or the ending. Mostly, actually, I go for books which have a good ending. I am very picky about what I read. I take reviews from people and make sure that I read books which have a good ending, because sad ending actually depresses me. So I make sure I tell them very particularly to please tell me about books which have a good ending or which have some motivation at the end of their books. So I don't kind of remember any book which has any ending which I think I could change. And um maybe I don't think, maybe, but someday if I publish a book, I'll definitely make sure that I leave it at a cliffhanger where people can make changes to the ending, and they can reach out to me and tell me that okay, we could work on this ending. So yeah, but coming to your topic, I actually do not have any book as such in particular where I think the writer would have made like given it a different ending, because the writer knows best. And from what I have seen and experienced, the writer begins to write the book, but then the book takes the writer to in a particular direction. So the beginning is with the writer, but the ending is with the book. The flow of the story then begins to develop, and perhaps I think all the writers I have read have made justice to whatever they have written. So I particularly do not have any book as such, but I'm pretty sure I might come across some, and I would love to have a lot of recommendations from a lot of bibliophiles today. So I'd request everyone to please drop in great recommendations where I could think, or where I feel there might be some changes, and then we can discuss it, and we can again have a meeting like this, or at least a book club we can form and discuss about books. So yeah, that was my time. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Misha. We will definitely take that into consideration. I believe we should, because seeing that there are so many bibliophiles here, it would really be for the collective good that we share whatever knowledge we have and whatever book recommendations we have. And another thing that struck me was that you are very picky about the big books that you choose. So that to me raised a very valid point that we are what we consume. So if someone who is in the constant habit of reading sad books will eventually find themselves in a depressed state and have their vision of the world slightly skewed. So it is very important that from a that we be optimistic in life, and for that it is very important that we consume the media that we do. We should pay an attention to that. So with that, I would like to end today's table topic session. uh, I would like to call the timer for a report if there were any disqualifications. uh, yeah.
Okay,
Toastmaster.
Toastmaster Sai, if I can share when called upon by the general evaluator, like final timer with all the sections. Is it possible?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
we
that
have to
sounds
move
good.
to the last section, that is evaluation. So it would be okay.
Yeah, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Then I would like to hand it over to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Krupesh.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Sai Prasad. Great session. And as Toastmaster Tariq mentioned in his speech, whatever is monitored and measured gets managed and as well as improved. So, inviting Toastmaster Tariq for the general evaluation section so that we all can improve upon our skills. Over to you, Toastmaster Tariq.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Kupesh. Indeed, it is a great session in progress right now. Let me start with the general evaluation for this meeting. Those who have joined as a guest, and for the refresher for all of us, in the words of Ken Blanchard, feedback is the breakfast of champions. If that thought appears too heavy, standing on just 6 words, please note that Ken Blanchard is the author of The 1 Minute Manager, a 112-page book that sold more than 16 million copies and was ranked as the New York Times bestseller. Clearly, Ken champions truth in brief. At Toastmasters, we truly echo his thought. That is why every session has a general evaluator. As the general evaluator today, my role is to give a comprehensive feedback on every aspect of today's session and meeting, things that were good, things that could be better. Helping me in my task today is the tag team, where T stands for timer, A stands for accounter, and G for grammarian. I would like to call upon timer for giving the timing report for both the prepared speeches as well as the table topic speech. Over to you, timer of the day.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Tariq. Actually, I thought that speech evaluation will be done first, and then it will be tag team report.
No, it's not that order, right? I mean,
Okay. So I
if
shall.
you're ready, you can prepare. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I share my report for prepared speeches and table topic. Uh, okay. Can someone please allow me to share my screen?
Yeah, Toastmaster Mitesh.
Yeah. Just a minute. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Okay, starting with the prepared speeches, Toastmaster Utkarsha has taken 6 minutes 39 seconds for his for her prepared speech, and she has qualified her project. The next is Toastmaster Tariq. He has taken 19 minutes 35 seconds, and he has also qualified his prepared speech. For table topics, all the speakers have qualified their timing. So yeah, as of now, everyone is qualified with their speeches.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mitesh.
Yeah.
I would request Toastmaster of the day to generate the poll as well for both. At least we can get going on the poll side for prepared speeches as well as for the table topics, and then we'll continue with the evaluation and the three roles for the poll. With this, we'll start with the evaluation session for today's prepared speeches. I would like to call upon the first evaluator, Toastmaster Misha, for giving the evaluation for the prepared speech by Toastmaster Utkarsha. Over to you, Toastmaster Misha.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Tariq. Am I audible and visible clearly? Thank you. Utkarsha, it was a great speech and a very well delivered speech. You actually accomplished your project. You made sure you fulfilled the purpose of your project. The approach you took to deliver your speech was commendable. From describing the concept of the project to explaining the assignment and then taking us all to the stages of the project, with the phases of the project, you took us all on a journey. I appreciate how you pointed out the struggles you faced while managing the project. You made sure to point out particular struggles for us to understand what exactly was going on. Then you even pointed out how you learned new things and improved as a person, imbibing the values of team management, decision making, skill management. However, in Toastmaster, there is always a room for improvement. I do have certain pointers which might help you improve your public speaking. Since this is an online meeting, your visibility is a key. It is preferable to make sure your distance from the camera is is enough to be visible and audible properly. You can work on the camera angle where we can see more of you and less of the top and the bottom of the screen. In your speech, you mentioned mentioned about your struggles and the values you learned, but it would have added more relatability and panache if you could share a few anecdotes or instances of the struggle and the improvement. Adding a personal touch always increases the quality of the speech. Apart from these points, your speech was great. I appreciate how flawless you are that you did not stop or you did not use any crutch words in your speeches. Your vocabulary was great and your diction was very clear. I appreciate how well you used your hand gestures. It was very clearly visible and you showed a lot of confidence. You are an amazing Toastmaster, and it is evident from the kind of speech you delivered. And I wish you all the very best for all your future projects and pathways. Good luck. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Misha. Indeed, a great evaluation. I have just one thing to add to Toastmaster for
Utkarsha.
Utkarsha, for your speech. When you when you give a speech, according to me, when you are giving an online speech, right, your hand gesture should be visible to a certain extent, and most of the time, even the regular speakers, right, they forget about doing the hand gestures because that's the only way that you can show the body language to the wider audience. But overall, great speech. Keep up the good work. Moving on, we will move to the next evaluator, Toastmaster Manisha, for evaluating the speech for Toastmaster Tariq, that is myself. Over to you, Toastmaster Manisha.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tariq. I have added pressure on me today because I am evaluating the G himself. So I will try and have a go at it. My speaker, Toastmaster Tariq, a 20-minute speech is not for the faint heart. It takes grit, preparation, and ultimate resolve to attempt a speech of that scale. I had a lot of jitters when I did my first 20-minute keynote address while I was completing my pathway. So kudos to at least attempt that speech. Your research showed up with different aspects of the topic that you covered today. For example, when you talked about cognitive overload, that clearly showed that I have my research done, and here are the facts. You also covered a few guilty as charged habits that we all succumb to, like, for example, various tabs being open, being online after 10 as well, and some of the corporate personnel that we are, the corporate habits die hard, and we are all guilty of being falling privy to all of that. Being spoiled for available information. And thank you for covering a very key aspect that I cover in my team meetings is the need to summarize in layman language in this era of essays on any topics, right, that are available. It's very important. And how simplification is the key. And although that came out well throughout your speech, I'd like to leave with you a slightly different perspective you could look to consider for a future speech. Because a 20-minute speech is heavy on the audience as well. And if you don't win them over to your side, it could be a little dreary as an experience overall with the concept that you had. So what you can do is you can introduce a gamification concept by engaging your audience, and this is easier in an in-person meeting and slightly tricky in a virtual meeting. But in a virtual meeting, you can be creative as well, bringing out the whiteboard, jotting down answers, delivering your speeches through visual aids to hook your audience, and also try them. You had a very good take on AI and machine learning. If you would demonstrate how an AI command can help with simplification, that would need no other explanation or stats around what you were trying to say, because simplification is something that you could go. Perhaps go a little off topic. You could have included some humor by sharing a hilarious video you saw while researching your topic. Like, for example, the other day I was searching on internet, why am I feeling so tired and why do I have fatigue? And the last answer I saw on Quora was perhaps cancer. So these are some of the hilarious, you can bake in humor through the speech just as an audience hookup. Basically, that covers the downside of the information that is available. Overall, it was a great speech. And a speaker is just not about the speech they give, that current speech, it's about the spirit of feedback and the acute resolve that they carry through the gazillion speeches that they give in their lifetime. Well done. And I wish you all the best for your future speeches as you turn the page with each speech. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Manisha. Indeed, a great evaluation. I would like to call upon Timer for sharing the timing for the evaluators, please. And for the audience, there are poll links available in the chat for the Zoom. So if you can just exercise your voting rights. Over to you, Toastmaster Mitesh.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Tariq. Okay, so for speech evaluation, let me share the screen. Okay. Yeah, so Toastmaster Misha has taken 2 minutes 42 seconds and she has qualified with her speech evaluation. And Toastmaster Manisha has taken 3 minutes 21 seconds and she has also qualified with her speech evaluation. So both the speech evaluators are qualified.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mitesh. So we'll move ahead with the meeting. I would like to call upon a grammarian for giving the grammarian report for the meeting. Toastmaster Sai Prasad.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tariq. Today's task as grammarian was really very hectic. being such a having so many interesting word usages and so many special idioms used. I was not able to keep a track of all of them, but I have managed to jot down certain things for good usages as well as not so good usages, and I'll share my screen for the same. No screen sharing. Could you please give me the screen sharing
Yeah.
rights?
Toastmaster Deepak, can you help Toastmaster Sai?
Yeah, yeah, Toastmaster.
Yeah. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So, Toastmaster Krupesh used the word of the day and the idiom of the day several times. Another fun word that captures a lot of meaning in just one word. I think we should all aim to use such words in our vocabulary. Uh, that way, you don't have to really explain a lot of things. And that was acclaimed. Then Toastmaster Tariq, during his speech, used a very nice alliteration called the digital deluge, and it was very interesting for me. It means a deluge is a flood, but as a verb usage, it means to be overwhelmed or to be inundated with something. It could be work, it could be information. So you can use it in all different contexts as well. Then Toastmaster Sham used the word dystopian, which means it's the opposite of utopia, which I would say is an ideal situation, used to indicate an ideal situation, and dystopian would be something that is horribly unideal. Something has gone extremely wrong there. And then guest Abhijit used the phrase top of one's head, which is used to indicate a spontaneous thought. Then Toastmaster Misha used panache. So panache was kind of like a headdress that was used in the medieval ages in Europe for knights. So they had these, these peacock feathers or the feathers of some other birds on top of their uh, their helmets when they used to go to fight in ceremonies. If you have seen Game of Thrones, you might have seen that people there had different headdresses, and panache is a word that was used for that. And in present context, it is used to indicate flair, flamboyance, and confidence. And I also would like to indicate Toastmaster Manisha's use of the word of the day and the idiom of the day as well. And in not so good usage, uh, certain things that we should all focus on are usages of the correct articles, the usage of plurals, tense usages during uh, during the speeches, and the sentence structure for depending on what voice you are using. You can have a subject verb object or the other way around if you're using a passive voice, and overusing certain words in very that are very close to each other. So if I use a certain word in one sentence and I use the same word in the next sentence, then it feels kind of repetitive. So we can diversify the word usage there, use a slightly different word, um, or we can space the usages of the words apart. So that is my grammarian report for today.
Thank
Over
you,
to you,
Toastmaster,
Master. Over to you,
for a
Jen.
wonderful grammarian report. That was indeed very informative and a lot of points to be noted for all of us. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sai. I would move ahead with the next report, which is the R counter report by Toastmaster Shyam. Toastmaster Shyam, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Toastmaster Tariq. Let me just share my screen once and then start. Yeah, I hope my screen is up and it's visible.
Yeah, we can see.
Sure. Sure. So over here, I've just captured the number of R's and other crutch phrases that users have used. These are very specific and peculiar to all the speakers. Each user having their own crutch phrases that they've used either multiple times. When it comes to R counter, Toastmaster Sai Prasad, Toastmaster Mitesh, Toastmaster Neeraj, and Toastmaster Vikram, if you could become more aware when you are using the R's in your speeches, that will help you kind of reduce the number of instances wherein you use this phrase in the future. Apart from that, as I mentioned, each speaker has a different crutch phrase which I've tried to list down. I also might have missed some of them. So would like all of you to just become more aware of the phrases that you're using, and to make it much more intentional so that it helps us kind of improve our speaking or speech in the near future. Sure. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Tariq.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shyam, and it was indeed very informative report. We all ignore our own crutch words, ours, maybe, like, etc. So this is really helpful for all of us to be conscious when we give the speech. Thank you very much. We'll move ahead with the next phase of the meeting, but before that, I would like to request Toastmaster of the day for launching the poll for the tag team player. Poll link would be available or it's already available on the Zoom chat box. Please exercise your voting rights. Thank you. I'll move ahead with my general evaluation for today's meeting. So we started meeting on time. It was like 3 minutes delayed, but that's okay, considering this being the online meeting. All the three golden rules were laid out very clearly at the beginning of the meeting. The energy in the beginning was amazing. We started right on time. Everybody was there on the meeting on time. We were having our theme as well, already discussed over the WhatsApp group, as well as everybody was having the background of the theme uh, uh, available. So that was amazing. We also started with the introduction of the guest. The guests were welcomed. They were asked to be introduced, so that went well. We also should, I mean, that's my suggestion. We also should give a little bit brief on the Toastmasters and how we conduct the meeting, right? For them to get the genuine feedback of that, which we are going to ask them at the end of the meeting. Uh, for the presiding officer, they strike the gavel at the beginning. Absolutely, yes. Share a positive message why we are here, why we are joining Toastmasters meeting, and what are the rules of the Toastmasters meeting. So everything went superbly well. Coming to Toastmaster of the day, a remarkable choice of the theme of being bookmasters, not the Toastmasters, right? All the relevant background, everything was shared earlier before the meeting. Everybody was asked to put the virtual Zoom background, and there was a applause as well while he was introducing the tag team role player as well. So that was fantastic. Also, there were time limits that needs to be measured. Now, when we started the meeting at 11:03, we started with the Toastmaster of the Day theme, and it took like 27 minutes before we started introducing the tag team player. In my view, when we start any meeting, there should be a timeline. So even when the Toastmaster of the day introduces the theme of the meeting, the objective of the meeting, and then introduces the tag team player, between that, if he's having the questions to the audience, that should also be time bound. We should not have 20, 25 minutes just for the questions and take everybody's opinion, which is important. But then you can segment it out. You can have first 10 minutes, and then at the end, right, you can have another 10 minutes so that people can participate. People will have those thoughts also, right, during the course of the meeting. So that would be helpful in my view. But otherwise, a fantastic job for Toastmaster of the Day with this theme, as well as a very informative session. I would think that I also had very different knowledge about the different books, right? But then, well, everybody expressed their opinion and the books and how they got triggered to getting the books, getting into the reading. So that was amazing. Moving to speaker one. So I don't have anything more to add after Toastmaster Misha has added. So fantastic speech. It was very well received as well. For the evaluator, Toastmaster Misha, as usual, had a fantastic evaluation, covered all the points from the overall speech objective and the overall speech delivery perspective. Toastmaster Manisha, thank you for the feedback. Your feedback is very well taken. I've noted down the points and will definitely try to implement in my next upcoming speeches. Table topic master. So the table topics were absolutely relevant. So I remember the feedback from the general evaluator at least 3 to 4 meetings back when we discussed that, okay, if you have a particular theme for the Toastmasters meeting, we should be having the table topics also relevant to that theme so that we can extend that theme, right? Not just for 10 minutes, but then the table topics would also trigger a lot of conversation about it. So that was very well done. All the topics were linked to the theme. Also, you motivated speakers to speak, and you also complimented them after the speech, right? Which is very important for the next person to come on the podium and then deliver the table topic speech. So, which was very well received. Also, you gave opportunity for the guests to try themselves on the impromptu speech, which was good because then they will get a first-hand experience how the Toastmaster meeting works and how we can think on our feet while giving the impromptu speech. So amazing work there. Apart from that, on the general remarks, I'm kind of the evaluation was absolutely fine. CRC method was followed. The speakers were positive. The evaluators also had positive impact on that. On the tag team player, so timer role very well explained. That was very appropriate, and also you gave the report on time. So kudos to the timer. Our counter, so the report that you have prepared, I absolutely understand it requires a lot of effort. And you need to be very conscious throughout the meeting because you are capturing everybody's R counters, right? You are capturing everybody's pillar words. You are focusing for 1.5 hour, sorry, 2.5 hour, right, for everybody's speech. So fantastic work. No comments on that. Moving to grammarian, the role was explained very well. You also explained about the not so good usage of English. What is good usage? You also mentioned about the word of the day, which was amazing and also kind of relevant to our theme. There were also the names of the people while you presented the report where there are good usage as well as there are not good usage so that people could be conscious while they choose the language when they speak. So that was presented very well. The report was also presented very well for all of the three tech team players. That's about it from my evaluation perspective. And again, I would also request the timer to time the general evaluator as well, right? Because if you want to start the meeting on time, end the meeting on time, it's not one person's responsibility. Everybody in this meeting should be adhere to the timing so that we can start on time and we can end on time as well, being Sunday afternoon. So thank you for the opportunity and over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Krupesh.
Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Tariq, for great evaluation session. And coming back to the theme, as acclaimed author Stephen King said, books are uniquely portable magics. So I hope this magic keeps on inspiring you, keeps on educating you, and keeps on entertaining you. And over to you, presiding officer of the day, Toastmaster Deepak, for the further proceedings.
Thank you, Toastmaster Krupesh, for conducting such a great meeting. Kudos to you, Toastmaster Krupesh. In the wise word of George R. Martin, a reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies. The man who never reads live only once. So I'll request all the people, please start your journey of reading. We already have some really great readers like Rupesh, Toastmaster Tariq, Toastmaster Sai, and I think many others whom I don't know that they are bibliophiles. Now I'll request our guests to share their feedback. How was their overall experience with the meeting? Guest Abhijit, would you like to share your feedback or
Sure,
your
thank you.
experience with the meeting?
The feedback is, I mean, quite positive. I did not, I mean, I've written approximately 2.5 pages of things as in the notes that I've taken from this conversation. I was expecting to get notes, but not at this scale and with this quality. I'm quite happy that I gave my Sunday afternoon 2.5 hours to this. Quite a good experience and worth it.
Thank you, Toastmaster.
Thank you.
Sorry, thank you, guest Abhijit. We are happy that you enjoy. Now I'll request the guest Rishikesh to share your experience, please.
No, Rishikesh is logged off. Deepak.
Okay. Toastmaster Manisha. Toastmaster
Manisha is logged
Manisha.
out too. She had some
Acha.
work to do, so she left.
Okay. We had only two guests, no? Toastmaster to this.
Yes.
Okay. So now it's time for the poll. We have the result.
Okay, I request everyone to switch on their cameras just for a screenshot. And if the Toastmaster of the day can take screenshot, because I think I am facing some technical issues from my side. So
Yeah, I can
I
take
request everyone, to switch on their cameras.
Toastmaster Aditya, if you can hear us, if you can keep camera on. And
Yes, just a
likewise
moment.
for Toastmaster Tariq. Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone can come up with some emojis on the screen, so it would be great.
Yeah. Look at the camera, please, for a moment. And cheers. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Deepak.
We have Toastmaster Utkarsa also. He has joined from another club. Toastmaster Utkarsa, would you please share your feedback and any recommendation?
Yes.
Please
Am I
feel free to
audible?
recommend any good practices which you use in your club so that we can also start.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, first of all, thank you all for having me in your club, and it was a great pleasure delivering my speech at your club. And indeed, I would say that the theme and how the meeting was conducted
Sorry,
and the
can you please switch on your camera? Is it okay for you?
just give me a moment. Am I visible?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was saying that it was a great delivering speech at your club, and it was indeed a pleasure attending this meeting. It was quite engaging and conversation and lot of information. So in fact, I would take few feedbacks for my team, my Toastmasters club as well, and it was great engaging with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Utkarsa, for your kind words. Now we have poll, and we'll start with tag team. Any guesses?
I think Toastmaster Sai.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so
Toastmasters Sai Prasad.
it's a Toastmaster side. Congrats, Toastmaster Sai.
Thank you.
Next, we have the poll for best evaluator. Any guesses?
Manisha.
Correct.
Yeah,
Toastmaster Manisha.
first much evaluation.
Best table topic speaker.
I think Toastmaster Sham.
Sham or Misha.
Toastmaster Sham, yes.
Sham or Misha.
Shyam.
Okay. Any more guesses? So it's again Toastmaster Manisha only.
Nice.
Best prepared speaker.
That's a difficult one.
Toastmaster Tariq, I would say.
Yeah, so it's Toastmaster Tariq. Congrats, Toastmaster Tariq. And the last but not the least, very important. Best of day 3.
Toastmaster of the day.
Toastmaster Krupesh.
T-mod.
Oh, it's a tough fight. It's a tie.
Oh.
Wow.
Toastmaster Krupesh and Toastmaster Tariq, both. Congratulations to both of you. So, thank you all for joining the meeting. And I'll request as a VP head that put your name in Excel sheets for our next meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Have a great week ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you.